Dershowitz reveals what's behind the smoke and mirrors of Cohen's plea deal by us4trump.com. After a bad day for Manafort and Cohen, Alan Dershowitz joins Tucker Carlson on Fox News and reveals the legalities of what is truly happening without the leftist media spin. In an explosive interview, Dershowitz, retired Harvard law professor, breaks it down and backs it up with precedents. Tucker begins with a review for the audience that Cohen moved money from then-candidate Trump's accounts to a woman who said she had physical contact with Trump. Let's just take a listen at the thing instead of me repeating it. Let's take a listen.
Dershowitz, of course, a retired Harvard Law School professor, the most famous of them all, and the author of the case against impeaching Trump. He joins us now to help sort this out. Professor, thanks a lot for coming on. So the Manafort story, I think, seems pretty cut and dry. He was convicted of tax evasion. Sounds like he did it. I don't think many people were surprised. Cohen, however, part of this guilty plea surrounds money that he moved, apparently, from Trump's accounts to a woman who alleged sexual contact with Trump. That's a very common scenario among famous people. As you know, we've seen a lot of that in the last year. People paying off women who say they had sexual contact with the affluent person. Is that illegal? How is that a crime?
Sorry about that.
Itself, it's not a crime. And if the president had paid it directly, it wouldn't be a crime. The allegation here is that it was Cohen who paid it and made a campaign contribution, which he didn't report, at the direction of the president. And of course, some stations are already playing the funeral music for President Trump. But this is much more complicated and much more nuanced. First of all, the crime itself is very, very vague. They tried to put Edwards, the former presidential candidate, on trial, and of course, they got an acquittal. But second, it really depends completely on the credibility of Cohen. And remember, as Judge Ellis said, when they squeeze people like Manafort or Cohen, they squeeze them not only to sing, but sometimes to compose. And it's very easy to embellish a story. Let's assume hypothetically it's true that he did pay the money and it was designed to help the impact of the election. That wouldn't involve the president. All he has to do then is say, and the president directed me to do it. That's the kind of embellishment that people put on a story when they want to avoid dying in prison. When the prosecutor says to them, you have two choices. You'll die in prison, or you can give me a story that I can use to go and get the president. I'm not suggesting that happened here. But the risk of that happening is what Judge Ellis talked about in the Manafort case, and we may see that at work here. So we're a long way from tolling the bells for this administration. It's a bad day. It's a negative day, but not a fatal one. Yeah.
But I'm still a bit confused. So if somebody comes to you and says, if somebody says to you, and you're running for office, and the person says, give me money or I will humiliate you in public, and you do give that person money or instruct your lawyer to give that person money, that's a campaign donation?
Not if you make it yourself. But if somebody else pays the money in order to influence the outcome of the election, it is technically, perhaps, a violation of the election laws. That's what they try to get Edwards on. It didn't work. They got an acquittal and hung jury, and they never tried him again. But again, violation of election laws are regarded as kind of jaywalking in the realm of things about elections. And there are so many of them. Every administration violates the election laws. Every candidate violates the election laws when they run for president. Usually they pay a fine, something like that happens. Here they're trying to elevate this into an impeachable offense or a felony against the president. Look, they may name the president as an unindicted co-conspirator. They did that with Nixon. Even back then, I complained about that because naming somebody as an unindicted co-conspirator is very unfair because he has no opportunity to defend himself or herself. And yet that may happen. So this is the beginning of a story that will unravel over time, but it's not nearly as deadly lethal as some have portrayed it as being.
It's certainly confusing as a matter of law. Professor, thank you for explaining that.
Well, I'll just tell you that they're looking for anything they can get. Now they're basing it on the payment to Stormy Daniels and that McDougal woman. Like, what? This is what Mueller has. Nothing. Nothing. Let me know what you guys think in the comments below. And again, thank you so much for watching.